Hi everyone, I'm Hitomi.
Hi, I'm Tomo. Welcome to our podcast today.
This time we're going to dive deep into Mystery of 1,000 Years Old Wood in Small Island.
Sounds super interesting, but I'm curious about a Greek coat you were wearing.
So I just spent way too much money on this super high-tech raincoat.
Wow. Wait, a high-tech raincoat? Why?
Yeah, purely to survive the 5-minute walk to my convenience store. I mean, I hate getting wet.
You spent that much money just for a 5-minute walk to buy snacks.
Yes, I want to stay completely dry. Even if it is just a tiny bit of rain, I am putting on my expensive coat. The rain is my biggest enemy, you know? I cannot handle it.
Well then, my friend, you will never survive where we're going today.
Uh-oh. Why?
Because today, we are exploring a place where the local people say it rains 35 days a month.
Wait, what? A month only has 30 or 31 days?
Right, exactly.
So how can it rain 35 days a month? That is mathematically impossible.
That is the whole point.
Yeah.
It is a famous local joke. You say 35 days a month to show that it rains almost every single day.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and the rain is so heavy, it feels like time is stretching. So today, we are taking a deep dive into Yakushima. It is a very beautiful, famous island in the south of Japan.
Wow, Yakushima. I feel like I have heard that name. It is famous for nature, right?
Yes, very famous. And we have a really great mission for this deep dive today. We are looking at many different sources for you listening right now.
Yeah, we have travel guides, we have old historical records, and local videos too.
Exactly. And we are going to find out why this island is a World Heritage Site, what its hidden history is, and why tourists from all over the world love it so much.
So to you listening right now, have you ever wanted to just escape the busy city?
Oh, definitely.
Have you ever wanted to walk in a magical, quiet forest? Today, we bring that forest directly to you.
I love that. But to really understand Yakushima, we first have to understand the magic trees and the crazy weather.
Okay, let's unpack this. You said it rains 35 days a month. But why? Why does it rain so much on this one specific island?
Well, to understand that, you have to look at the physical shape of the island. People actually call Yakushima the Alps of the sea.
Alps, like the really high, snowy mountains in Europe?
Yes. But this island is sitting right in the middle of the ocean.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, so the island itself is not very big, but it has very, very high mountains. The highest mountain is called Mount Mayanora.
Mount Mayanora, okay.
And it is 1,936 meters high. It is literally the highest mountain in that whole southern part of Japan.
Whoa, that is a huge mountain sitting right in the water. It is basically a giant wall in the ocean.
That is a great way to picture it. So think about the weather mechanics, right?
Okay.
Warm, wet wind comes off the ocean water. The wind moves very fast across the sea, and then boom, it hits this giant mountain wall.
Because the wind cannot go through the mountain, it has to go up.
Yes, exactly. And when that wet, warm air goes high up into the cold sky, it turns into heavy, dark clouds.
Right, simple science.
Yeah, and because the mountain is so big, it makes massive, massive amounts of rain fall down on the island.
Oh, I see. So the mountain is basically a machine. It catches the wet wind and turns it into heavy rain.
Exactly. So the rain pours down on the forest every single day.
Wow. But that much rain must do something to the trees, right?
Oh, it does something amazing. Yakushima is famous for its special cedar trees. And there's a Japanese word we need to learn right now, which is yakusugi.
Yakusugi. Okay. Let me guess. Yaku comes from the name Yakushima.
Right.
And sugi means cedar tree.
You got it. But there's a very strict rule on the island.
What rule?
You cannot just point at any cedar tree and call it a yakusugi. A tree is only given the official name yakusugi if it is more than 1,000 years old.
More than 1,000 years old?
Yes, 1,000 years.
Wait. What if the tree is 999 years old?
Well, if it is under 1,000 years old, the local people just call it a small cedar.
A small cedar. A 900-year-old tree is a small cedar.
I know, it sounds crazy.
That is so strict. I mean, a 900-year-old tree is still ancient. But wait, how do they live so long? Most normal trees do not live for 1,000 years. They die or fall down.
Here is the twist. It connects to the ground they grow in. The ground on this island is not soft dirt.
It is not.
No, it is made of granite. And granite is a very, very hard rock.
Okay, so the whole island is just a giant piece of hard rock. But rock is not soil. Plants need rich, soft soil to eat and grow, right?
Exactly. And because granite is so hard, it does not break down easily, so there is very little nutrition in the ground.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the trees are practically starving for nutrients. Because the soil is so poor, the trees grow very, very slowly.
Wait, that sounds like a bad thing. If they are starving and growing slowly, how do they survive for 1,000 years?
You would think it is a bad thing, but no.
Yeah.
Because they are forced to grow so slowly, their wood becomes super tight.
Tight. Like strong.
Yes, the inside of the tree becomes squeezed and super dense.
Oh, I understand. So the wood is not soft like normal wood. It is like trying to hammer a nail into a diamond.
That is a perfect visual. The wood is so dense and strong that water cannot soak into it.
Even with 35 days of rain.
Even with all that rain. And bugs cannot bite into it. Their teeth would just break.
Wow, poor bugs.
Ha ha ha. Yeah. And because bugs and water cannot get inside, the trees do not rot. They never go bad.
That is amazing.
Right. That is the secret to why they can live for thousands of years.
So, it is like a person who only eats a very small, healthy meal every single day.
Yes.
And because they eat so carefully, their body becomes super strong, they never get sick, and they live to be 100 years old.
That is exactly it. They survive by growing slowly. And because of this amazing biology, the oldest tree on the island is very famous. It's called Jomonsugi.
Jomonsugi, how old is it?
Well, scientists tested it, and they think it is between 2,200 and 7,200 years old.
Oh my gosh, 7,000 years old.
I know, it's huge.
That gives me goosebumps. I mean, that tree was alive before most of human history even happened. It was just standing there in the rain.
It is incredible to think about, standing there growing slowly.
But wait, I have a question.
Sure, go ahead.
If this island is just a huge mountain of hard rock with terrible soil and crazy heavy rain, let me make a logical guess.
Okay, let's hear it.
Because it is too hard to survive there, nobody lived on this island until modern times, right? Like it is just a wild nature spot.
No way. That is what many people think, but people have actually lived there for a very, very long time.
Wait, really?
Yes. In fact, Chinese history books wrote about this island in the year 607.
That long ago, the year 607.
Yep, the year 607.
But how did people in China know about a rocky island in Japan back then? That is super early.
Well, think about the map. Because Yakushima is an island in the far south of Japan, it was a very important stopping point for ships coming from the Asian mainland.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, famous monks traveling from China to Japan stopped there to rest safely before continuing their long journey.
So it was like a parking area for ships, a rest stop.
Yes, exactly. For example, a very famous Chinese monk named Ganjin stopped at Yakushima in the year 753.
Wow.
So the island actually has a very deep human history.
That is so interesting. But how did the regular local people survive?
What do you mean?
Well, you just said the ground is hard rock and mountains. In the old samurai times, the Edo period, Japanese people had to pay taxes to the government, right?
Yes, taxes were very strict back then.
And back then, people did not use paper money. You paid taxes using bags of rice.
Right, rice was like money.
But you cannot grow rice on steep mountains with hard rocks. So how did they pay their taxes? Did the samurai just feel bad for them and say, okay, you are poor, you do not have to pay?
No. The samurai government never says you do not have to pay. The samurai always want their taxes.
Yeah, that makes sense. Governments always want their money.
Exactly. So since the local people could not grow rice, they had to find a different currency. They actually paid their taxes using wood.
Wood? Like they just handed the samurai a pile of tree branches?
No, not branches. They used the special Yakusugi cedar wood.
Oh, the 1,000-year-old trees.
Yes. They used hand tools to cut the massive trees into perfect flat pieces. It was almost like making flat wooden boards.
Wow. Doing that without modern electric saws must have taken incredible physical power.
It was very hard work.
But why did the samurai want flat wooden boards instead of food?
Because the Yakusugi wood was so unique. Remember, it is super dense, it does not rot, and it has a very beautiful pattern.
Right, because of the slow growing.
Yes. And the powerful samurai leaders wanted this strong wood to build their massive castles and rich houses. It was very, very valuable.
I see.
So these flat pieces of wood basically became local money for the island.
Oh, wow. Because the wood was totally waterproof and super strong, it was like gold for them.
Exactly like gold.
Yeah.
And this connects to a very famous spot on the island today. It is called Wilson Stump.
Wilson Stump. Okay, stump means the bottom part of a tree left in the ground after you cut it down, right?
Yes, exactly. So 400 years ago, there was a giant Yakusugi tree. The local people spent huge amounts of time cutting it down to be a special gift for a very powerful samurai leader. His name was Toyotomi Hideyoshi.
Oh, he is very famous in Japanese history.
Very famous. And today, The stump of that giant tree is still sitting there in the forest.
Wait, a 400-year-old tree stump? Is it really that big to be famous today?
It is massive.
Yeah.
Over the last 400 years, the softer wood on the inside rotted away. But the super hard outside wood stayed perfectly strong.
Oh, so it is like a shell.
Yes. So today, the stump is completely empty inside. It is so big you can actually walk inside it like a large room.
Wow, a room inside a tree stump. That sounds like a fairy tale.
It does. And here is the best part. If you stand inside this giant stump and look straight up at the sky, the hole at the top is shaped exactly like a heart.
A heart shape. Really? You are not joking.
I am not joking. It is completely real and totally natural.
That is crazy.
Yeah, and because of this beautiful heart shape, it is now a very famous power spot. Tourists go inside the stump to pray for good luck in love and relationships.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool. I bet that looks amazing in photos.
It is very popular on social media.
Okay, so the local people were living with these trees for hundreds of years. They were cutting some down to pay their taxes, but they respected the forest because it was their money and their life.
Yes, they lived in a very careful balance with the forest.
But if this wood was literally used as money, the local people must have been terrified when the modern government stepped in later on. Like, did things change?
Things changed very dramatically. And this brings us to the big fight for the forest.
The big fight.
Yes. In the Meiji era, around the year 1900, Japan created a new, modern national government. This new government wanted to build a strong, modern country.
Right, they were modernizing everything.
Exactly. And they looked at Yakushima and saw a giant bank account of expensive wood.
Oh, no. So the government just said, this forest belongs to the country now.
Yes. The government officially declared that they owned the forest. The local people could not freely use the trees anymore.
But wait, the local people needed that wood to survive? It was their economy, their money. They must have been so angry.
They were furious. They said, "This is our home. We have lived with and protected this forest for hundreds of years."
So what did they do?
They did something incredibly brave. They sued the national government. They took the government to court.
Oh my gosh. Normal, poor island people fighting the big national government in court.
Yes.
That takes so much courage. I imagine a tiny island did not have the money to keep fighting forever. Did they just have to give up?
They did not give up easily. They pooled all their money and resources together, and they fought the government in court for 16 years.
16 years.
Yes, 16 long years.
That is a very long time to be stressed and fighting a legal battle. It must have been exhausting. Did they win?
Well, here's the sad part. They actually lost the court case.
Oh, no. After 16 years of fighting, why did they lose?
Because the modern government had strict new property laws, and the islanders only had traditional history, no modern papers.
That makes sense legally, but it is so unfair.
Yeah, the judge finally said, "Sorry, according to the new law, the government officially owns the land."
That is so sad. They lost their home.
It was a huge defeat. But the story has a twist.
A twist.
Because they fought so desperately for 16 years, the newspapers wrote about them. The whole country of Japan heard the story of the brave island people.
Public pressure?
Yes. The public in Japan felt so bad for the local people. They realized the islanders were fighting for their survival, not just for business.
People love an underdog story.
Right. And the public pressure became so strong that the government had to listen.
So what did the government do? They could not just ignore the angry public.
Right. In the year 1921, the government created a special rule just for this island. It was called the Yakushima Constitution.
The Yakushima Constitution. What did it say?
This special rule basically said, okay, the government legally owns the land, but the local people are officially allowed to use the forest and cut the trees they need to survive.
Wait, really? So they lost the official court case, but they still got exactly what they wanted in the end?
Yes, they got their forest back for their daily life.
That is amazing. It is like failing a big final test at school, but the teacher sees how incredibly hard you studied for 16 years, so they give you a special project instead to help you pass.
That is a brilliant analogy. The government saw their passion and gave them a special pass.
I love that.
And because of this big fight, a very important lesson was learned. The government and the people realized they could not just cut down all the trees for quick money. They had to protect this unique nature together.
That makes me feel so happy. The locals really saved their home.
They did. And because they saved it, the forest survived into modern times. Many years later, in 1993, Yakushima became one of Japan's very first World Natural Heritage Sites.
Oh, wow, 1993.
Yes, the whole world agreed. This place is unique and must be protected forever.
So because of that protected history, modern tourists can go see it today. If I visit Yakushima now, what is the actual experience like? I really want to know what I can see there.
The experience is unforgettable. Most tourists go there to hike deeply into the forest. There's a very famous walking area called the Shiratani Unsukyo Ravine.
Ravine. That is like a deep, narrow valley with a river at the bottom, right?
Yes. And this ravine is famous because of the incredible moss.
Moss, like the green plants on rocks.
Yes. Remember the heavy rain we talked about earlier?
The 35 days a month?
Exactly.
Yes.
Because it rains so much and the giant trees block the sunlight, the whole valley is covered in beautiful, soft green moss. The rocks, the roots of the trees, the ground, everything glows green.
Wow, it sounds like a fantasy world.
It really is. In fact, this specific mossy forest inspired the famous Japanese animation movie, Princess Mononoke.
Oh, I love that movie. The forest in that movie is so mysterious and beautiful. Right. So if you walk in this ravine, it actually feels like you are inside the movie.
Many tourists say it feels exactly like stepping inside the screen.
Wow, I want to go there now.
And because the ecosystem is so protected, you're not alone in the forest. Wild animals are everywhere.
Really? What kind of animals? Bears?
No bears. But you can see wild deer and monkeys all over the island.
Oh, monkeys.
Yes, because they are protected and feel safe. They just sit right in the middle of the driving roads to get warm in the sun.
Right on the road?
Yes.
Hmm.
You have to drive your car very slowly because the monkeys will just look at your car and refuse to move.
The monkeys are saying, this is my road, you wait for me.
Yes. They are the bosses of the island. And if you go down to the sandy beaches in the summer, you can even see wild sea turtles coming out of the ocean to lay their eggs in the sand.
Wow. High mountains, ancient magic trees, monkeys, and sea turtles. It sounds absolutely perfect.
It is a paradise.
But wait, I hear the hiking is very, very difficult. Is that true?
Well, to see the absolute oldest tree, that giant 7,000-year-old Jamansugi we talked about, you have to hike for 10 hours.
10 hours? Hey, are you serious?
Yes. The path is very long and goes deep into the mountains. It takes about 40,000 walking steps to go there and come back.
40,000 steps. Oh my gosh. Here I am complaining about my 5-minute walk in the rain to buy a snack.
Yep.
10 hours of walking just to look at one tree. That is wild.
It sounds crazy, but foreign tourists leave reviews online, and they all say the exact same thing.
What do they say?
They say, the hike is painfully hard, but you must go. Seeing a living thing that is thousands of years old changes the way you feel about your own life.
I can believe that. It must be a very emotional moment.
Very emotional.
But honestly, my legs would be completely dead after 40,000 steps. I would need to sleep in a bed for 3 days straight.
Well, you do not need to sleep for 3 days because Yakushima has the perfect cure for muscle pain.
Oh, what is it?
Because of the natural geography of Japan, the island has amazing onsen.
Whoa. Onsen, hot springs. I absolutely love hot springs. The hot water is so good for tired muscles.
Exactly. After the 10-hour hike, tourists go straight to the local hot springs. There is a famous one called Onowaida Onsen. But be careful. It is dangerously hot.
How hot?
The water comes out at 49 degrees Celsius.
49 degrees. That is like cooking soup.
Like
You will boil your body. How do people survive that?
Well, the local people are used to it, and they say the intense heat completely relaxes the deep muscle pain from hiking.
I think I would just melt.
But if 49 degrees is too hot for you, there is another amazing choice. It is called Hirachi Kaichu Onsen.
Okay, what is special about this one?
This hot spring is right in the ocean.
Wait, in the ocean? How does an ocean hot spring work? It is just warm seawater.
No, natural hot water comes out of the rocks right on the beach next to the sea. But you have to time it perfectly. You can only go inside when the ocean tide is low.
Oh, I understand the mechanics. When the ocean water goes down at low tide, the hot spring pool appears on the rocks.
Yes. And when the ocean tide comes back up, the freezing cold seawater covers the pool, and the hot spring disappears under the waves.
Wow, that sounds like a dream. Sitting in a natural hot spring on the rocks, looking out at the ocean after walking all day in a magical moss forest.
It is the ultimate nature experience.
Okay, I completely understand why tourists fly from all over the world to go there.
It really is a special place. You know, it is not just about looking at old trees. It is about how the whole system works together.
Right.
The warm wind hitting the high mountains, the heavy rain falling on the hard granite rocks, the slow-growing wood, and the brave people who fought to protect it all.
Yes, let's wrap this up for the listener. Yakushima is not just a place with nice trees and lots of rain.
No, it is much more.
It is a story about nature surviving by growing slowly over thousands of years. It is a story about samurai taxes being paid with beautiful flatwood.
Exactly.
And most importantly, it is a story about regular local people fighting the government for 16 years to protect their home so that we can enjoy it today.
That is a wonderful summary. They fought for it, and now it belongs to the whole world as a treasure.
You know, it makes me think deeply. The next time you see something beautiful in nature, maybe a nice green park in your city or a clean, quiet beach by the ocean, ask yourself a question.
What question?
Ask yourself, who fought to protect this place long before I was born? What invisible history are you walking on right now?
That is a very powerful question. Nature usually survives because someone chose to protect it.
Exactly. And it also makes me think about something else.
What's that?
Maybe my 5-minute walk in the rain is not so bad. I do not have to walk 40,000 steps to see a tree, and I have my super expensive high-tech raincoat. So I am actually very lucky.
Haha. Yes, you are very lucky. Keep your raincoat on, and maybe one day you can pack it in your suitcase and wear it in Yakushima.
I think I definitely will. Thank you for listening to this deep dive. See you next time.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.